going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today what we have is my absolute mess that I made of the headlight. So I don't know if you guys know, but I tried to clear coat that and my dumb ass didn't actually mix the clear coat properly. So now I'm here to fix my mess with a brand new set of lenses. And what we're going to be doing today is actually trying to peel away the current lens from the housing. We're actually going to be putting it in the oven. Call me crazy, but we're putting our headlights in the oven and then we're going to peel it apart and redo the lens. And if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you get the latest episodes before they're released, that'd be sick. Drop a like on the video as well. We'll try and get like more than 100 likes this video. That'd be sick. But yeah, let's jump into it. There's two ways that you can do this and we're going to try and do both today, but I'm not too sure how it's going to go. So you can actually take off these small indicator parts and reach in and reach two bolts that you need to undo. There are two screw holes under here. We're gonna try that and then undo another 3 inside the engine bay to get one of the headlights out. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna have to unfortunately jack up the car, take off the wheels, take off the inner fender lining and the front bumper as well, which I've never done before. So we're gonna start by trying that method first and then go into the next one if that doesn't work. Let's unbox this headlight and I'll show you guys how brand new and clean they're gonna look. Cool. All right, so let's unbox these headlights. I'll show you guys what we've got in here. I'm sure you guys are really excited to see clear headlights because I am, that's for sure. It's not like you haven't seen these before, have you? It comes with the sealant glue. And I thought we had to buy this and we weren't gonna be able to do it. You know how fucking hyped I am for this? Looking online all day trying to find a shop that actually sells this and you couldn't find it anywhere. So yeah, stoked we got that. This is the headlight. Let's unwrap this bad boy. I'll try my best not to get hand scuffs on this as well because you kind of want to install these with as little dust as possible on them and stuff like that. So it's probably not the best idea to do this outside, but it's all right. We'll be able to clean it up. But yeah, look at these bad boys. I want to drop them. They are brand new, really clear. I'm pretty sure you'd have to still UV protect these with something and we'll probably get someone to professionally either wrap them or spray them with this like vaporized sort of UV spray that they do. But yeah, look how sick these look. Like I'm so stoked to finally get rid of this and be able to drive my car around without looking like an absolute mess. So yeah, looks disgusting. So let's fix that right up. These look pretty good, eh? What do you reckon, Simon? Yeah? Cool. So we have another set of goodies here. I'm going to unwrap this as well. It's actually side indicators that are clear. So I've seen a lot of people go for these Nismo ones just because they look a lot cleaner. Don't have like a big orange indicator on the side of your car. It still has the orange sort of color, like the ember light in there, but the clear just kind of like accents your paint color a lot more. I just reckon it looks so much cleaner and I see a lot of people doing this, so I was stoked to get on board with that. These would be mad. We can probably install those today because it's simply, you can just pop off the side ones, replug these in and they should be good to go with the new bulbs. Yeah, we'll tackle that when it comes to it. Okay, so to start off with, I'll show you the bolt locations where we need to undo some bolts. So there's one here on top of the front rail here. We need to take this out of the way and then there's 2 bolts down here that you can get to as well. And we can undo those. And then what you need to do is reach under the bumper and then there's 2 screws somewhere up here that we need to locate and find. Probably do that by hand. If we can't get it, front bumper has to come off. So let's get into that. Probably chuck you on the time lapse or yeah, we'll see how it goes, but let's get into it. I always suggest probably labeling stuff. If you're doing more than one thing in one day, you want to put these in like a little Ziploc bag and label what you're doing and where they go. So let's go from there. So we've got the 10mm socket with an extension. I'm pretty sure these should be 10mm inside here. Bit of a hard one to get to, so try your best to get in there. Cool. Now for the hard part, we'll see if we can reach in, get up there to the bolts. Can't actually see where the f they are. So we're going in blind here. I'm reaching around trying to find, doing the old reach around, trying to find 2 screw holes. They're just 2 Phillip head bolts that I need to take out and I can't seem to find them, so.
Exhilarating.
I know. I think I might have found them, potentially. So we got one of them out. Here's that. So these are inside your bumper, under, up and right. If you can't see it, what Simon did, which was like a mad little trick, put your phone camera in with the light on and look around and like try and get your bearings inside underneath where you need to reach up to. We found a clip and then there was like another body hole clip there. And then under that was the bracket. When I take this off, we can show you where they are located on the headlight, but that's under there. And then you can undo them with the Phillips head. So we're gonna do the next one now. So that's loose by hand now, you can just twist that out. And there's the last one. It's a running theme where you just become a creep every time I work on a car. Cool, so there's one more bolt that we forgot about underneath this canister. So good news is I don't think we're gonna have to take off the bumper. Which is usually really hard. Never done it, but I'm sure we'd figure it out. That can be for another video when we get this resprayed. Yeah, so the last bolt's out. Let's try and pull this off now and see if it comes straight off.
You're gonna what?
Pull it off. Get your mind out of the gutter, mate. This should, in theory,
pretty good at it.
Come out. When you think it's gonna come out and it doesn't. Is there like a body clip or something? Oi. Nice. So this is actually attached here. You want to make sure you undo the electrical clip as well. Another thing is probably you want to undo your battery before you get into any of this, because we are touching electrical wires and stuff like that. So it's best practice just to take off your battery wires, and that's usually located in the boot. And voila. You don't understand how long I've been waiting to take this off to fix it because it looks like absolute dog shit. Cool, so we've got the housing away from the body. So this is where the screws were underneath that you wanted to undo. So there's 2 here, there's 1 guide pin here that's just snapped off. That's my bad. I was meant to lift that up. So I've just broken that off. I'm pretty sure this attaches to the bottom of the headlight on the right side as like a guide pin. We can just glue that back on with some adhesive. All right, headlight's out. A few tabs that I want to get off before we put this in the oven because I believe these can get really hot and maybe melt it. I'm not too sure, but I'd rather take them off now before they get hot. So you just get a little flathead screwdriver and you can just pop these out while leveraging that. So it just pops off like that. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's flip it over. There's another 2 on top. And then 1 here. So what you're doing now, you're basically just making sure that this is completely free of anything from blocking it from being pulled apart, aside from the glue. So then you can pull it apart and separate these 2 pieces. And what we're gonna be doing is completely replacing from here forward, and it's gonna look clean and so much better. But it looks pretty free of anything clamped onto it. I think the only thing I can see is probably this screw here. Oh, and another clip. So 1 last clip under here. Cool. I think that's everything holding the light together. Cool. Now we need to figure out how to put this in the oven and whether it's gonna fit or not. I feel like such a kid saying that, but we're putting this in the oven. We'll see how it goes. All right. How to f up your headlight 101 with Ado. Let's go. All right. So we've got the headlight out now, and then what we're gonna wanna do is put this in the oven for 7 minutes at 100 degrees Celsius. Some people have said other sort of like time lengths and different sort of degrees, but I think this one's enough just to get it loose so you can peel the adhesive inside apart. So what you gotta do is grab your salt, your no. We're gonna put it straight into the oven now and let it bake, I guess. You want to kind of not have it resting on any of the metal bits as well. And because this hardly fits in there, we're going to be tilting it up right like so. And then we want to close it up and leave it for a 7-minute timer. And we'll keep monitoring it, make sure nothing's melting, because that's the last thing I want in my oven. That's not mine because I rent this place, so that would not be ideal. 7 minutes on the clock and we'll update you when it's done. All right, so the 7 minutes are up. I've put gloves on because obviously I don't know how hot it is yet. You just want to make sure you're prepared. And we're gonna take it out and we're gonna see if we can separate the headlight from the housing. And then what you wanna do is get your pry tools as well. So we've got some flathead screwdrivers. If I wasn't worried about scratching this, which I'm not, I would be using these, but you'd wanna use like plastic sort of pry tools to start this process. I've heard starting on corners is probably the best approach as well to separating this. It's like the toughest part with the most glue. So this is already looking pretty soft. You can even see how you pull it by hand, you can actually open it up slightly, which gives you enough room to start prying. So now that we've got that little gap, we can go in with the tool and start slowly sort of separating it a bit. Then you want to twist to separate it out. And then you can get another tool, which is this. It's like a spreader. Wish I had one of these growing up. Then you can kind of spread it apart. You'd want to use this to get enough room for another screwdriver to go in there and sort of like start prying it even further. And then you kind of just work your way down the seam, cutting the glue while you kind of do it. And then you work your way along. It's actually working out pretty well, the first shot, to be honest. You want to work sort of quick, but not too fast. Like just take your time with it. Try and make sure you're separating all the sections evenly. Not too worried about breaking certain things because like we're replacing the front part. So if you scratch that, it doesn't really matter too much. And then yeah, you want to kind of get in there, start peeling it back with your hands as well. Applying a bit of force so that it just slowly starts peeling. Don't wrench the shit out of it because you don't want to rip it apart too fast. But yeah, you just kind of want to slowly pull back on it until you separate the two housings. And there you go. You've got it apart. That worked out pretty well. So I'm not too worried about this section. There's probably things in here that I might need to use depending on what's on the other kit. But for now, what I want to do now is clean up all this glue, try and remove as much as you kind of can and clean it up, clean up the channel so that you have a new fresh channel to lay a good bead in there with the other glue that they've supplied. You can do this by kind of running your tool down the middle. So you're kind of like smoothing out all the glue that's stuck there because you can still use this glue. Like once it heats up, it's all good, but you want to just kind of push it in and run it along. A lot of people would say you want to cut this out. See how there's like a lot of excess here? Probably want to pull that excess out because that's going to give you trouble when you're trying to put the new one in. I tried to clear coat them, that's why they're fucked.
What happened?
Well, essentially what happened with this one was I didn't mix the clear coat properly. So I sanded them back, they were nice and smooth and glossy, and then I buffed them so that they were completely clear. And then I wanted to seal them with clear coat. It doesn't work with certain headlights that have black trim and XYZ and just, yeah, I wouldn't do it, man. Just like sand them back, seal them with some wax, and then that's good enough, I reckon. Or go down this route and replace them with a whole brand new set of lenses so you don't have to worry about it in the future. I mean, not trashing Chris Fix because he knows what he's talking about, man, 100%, but stay away from the clear coat stuff if you don't know what you're doing like me because you'll just end up ruining it and costing you money. And he's really good at what he does, so it's hard to match what he does sometimes. So this is all ready to go, I think. There's some parts inside that we're gonna have to reuse, and there's a few screws here. If you can zoom in on that, we can take that out and put that in the new housing, which is in the bag over there. There we go. Nice one. So now that this part's free, you want to try your best not to touch it or get stuff on it because this is going to be seen inside your headlight. Once you've got it to this point, you want to basically get rid of the old lens so that we're going to be throwing this out, utilizing this in the sink apparently, because that's where Simon puts all his rubbish. Like, what the fuck? So then we've got this inner lining, sort of like lens bulb thing, whatever you call it. We're going to be using that in the new housing. So let's take this, put that down, try not to touch the inside of it because it's the main part it's going to be used. So it's we're lucky enough that this is the right side as well. So make sure you've got the right side, because the other one we had the wrong side in true Adrian fashion. Absolute muppet, that's what I am. So we've got the new lens here, and now we're going to put in the inner lining of this back into it, and realign these bolt holes and then screw it back in.
What's the difference between an Indian and an African elephant?
I don't know.
Okay.
One's Indian, one's African.
One's an elephant.
It's such a shit
I
joke.
said it was an Indian elephant and an African elephant. Nicer.
Dude, how much nicer is all the trim and stuff?
Let's see it.
It's like brand new. To me, that looks about a million times better. Let's get a before and after shot. I'll grab the other lens, chuck the other lens to me. So before, and then after. So it looks so much better. I'm super happy with how that turned out. What we're gonna do is run the bead of glue in here again in this channel, just so you get an even seal. There's gonna be no sort of air pockets where water or moisture can get into your headlight. We're gonna button that back up, and then we should be good to install it back on the car, and we'll show you how it looks. It's looking good already. Pretty happy with how it's turned out. I'm surprised we got this far, to be honest. So yeah, super stoked. Can't wait to have this on. What you want to do now is we go in with the heat gun and soften up all this stuff again, because it's kind of dried over time. And then once it's soft and glossy, you'll see it like get a bit glossy. Then we can lay another bead of this black adhesive. So this is like 4M, I can't remember what it's called. I'll put a link in the description where you can buy this sort of stuff. This came with the kit, luckily, but yeah, we need to lay a thin bead of this. So you'll stretch this out, heat this up itself, stretch it out into it. And then reapply the new lens and seat that and press it down enough till it clicks. And once it's in enough, we'll go back and put on all those metal clips that we had, just so it's 100% tight, screw down the bolts that you need, and then we can get back to installing the headlight. So that's what we're up to. I don't want to heat up the product as well, just so it's not as stiff and rigid. And this way you can sort of stretch it out. So you kind of want to stretch it out so it's like a thin bead. We'll start off here, and you kind of just press that into the groove. Continue to stretch it out as much as you can. And remember, we've got to make this last for 2 headlights, so we're kind of using it liberally, but not too much at the same time.
Are you gonna hit it with the heat gun again?
Yeah, I'll probably heat it up again after this, get it really tacky. Maybe hit the spots where it's a bit thin, like here. There's a spot here that's really thin that I'll put some more in after I've snapped off this little bit here. So we've just seated the bead. The reason we left the old glue is because all of that old glue will actually fill in the gaps for when you put the new glue in. So take off all the big high parts and then smooth it down, and then you can reuse that sort of glue as well. It's not bad practice to do that. Some people say you can throw it back in the oven for another 7 minutes at 100 degrees. Some people say hit it with a heat gun. So it's just up to you. Do it by feel, don't do too much heat. Little bit by little bit kind of helps. So just, yeah, and it's okay to redo all these steps again, as long as you let the part cool down. Or if it just like, if you have to step away from it and come back, just jump back to the other stage and redo the heat process, then you'll be able to get it nice and tacky again. So you can, there's room for error here, sort of thing. Once you've heated that up, try and seat the glass into the section. So what might happen is things will shift as well. So that side's in. This one needs to be pushed in a fair bit before we go further. There we go. Yeah, now that's in. Applying a bit of weight on it here just to get it together. You can do this mostly by hand if you've heated it enough. Yeah, I might put it back in the oven for like 5 minutes just to really press it together. So once you've got it to this stage where it's kind of already in, you can get it a bit further. Let the glue get really soft, and then yeah, we can put it back together. Take this out while it's still hot, that you seat this in properly, because otherwise you're gonna have gaps in your headlight, and that's not what we want. So we want to get it to a point where those connectors can pop onto it again. All right, now we're gonna try put on the connectors. There we go. Shit my pants while I was doing it. Finally finished it. Like, I'm pretty hyped. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out because last headlight looked like absolute. That was my own fault. So now I've actually learned how to take apart headlights and put it together, and man, it just looks amazing right now. Took a while, like took us about 2 or 3 hours to figure it all out and do it. That's not gonna come across in camera, but it's all worth it in the end because look how, these look actually brand new, like so good. And we can see in the light like how glossy these turned out. So let's head over to the car, we'll install these now, and I'll show you the side-by-side comparison of the old and now the new. So that wraps up the headlight restoration. Like, as you can see, there's a night and day difference between the old oxidized headlights here, which I had sanded these down and actually like wet buffed them, coated them with wax, and they're still doesn't turn out as good as when you do it brand new lenses. Like, honestly, I can't be happier with how these turned out. But yeah, for more content on the build, please just hit that subscribe button as well. We're gonna be coming with like a whole bunch of stuff for this build. So yeah, can't wait to bring that to you guys and super stoked to have you on the channel. So yeah, take it easy and peace.